Everyone, welcome back. It's Melanie, your She Shed Scrapper. So today I am back with a one-page summer layout using a couple of older Simple Stories collection. I believe they are Summer Lovin' and Sunkissed, if I remember correctly. I think those are the ones that I am using. I have these frames and I don't use them very often, and so I decided to kind of challenge myself and use up a couple of the frames. I have a couple of golf pictures, and lucky for me, 2 of the frames worked out really nicely with the 2 pictures that I do have. I just taped the frames right on my photos. The one I had to trim excess off, but I figured to make sure I got the frame kind of right where I wanted it on the picture, I would go ahead after the fact and trim my photo, and that worked out really nicely. I wanted to include quite a bit of color on this layout, and so I chose this striped paper and cut it a couple of inches. I think I did different widths for the top and the bottom of the layout. But I wanted it to kind of look, I don't know, not that it went all the way across the page, but I liked how it kind of helps close off the layout, maybe kind of helps limit where I feel like I need to embellish as well, because I have a bunch of embellishments from these collections, but not so much golfing, and I really don't use any golfing embellishments whatsoever. I then decided it kind of looked a little bit plain, and I do this a few times. I've done it a few times where I use my circle punch. This one was 1.5 inches. Punch out a bunch of circles, and this time I decided not to make them even whole circles because I was going to layer them under my striped paper. So you can see there that I cut them all out and then I layered them over top of each other and made a scallop going across the page. I wanted to cover up that seam though, because I mean, you can see that they are layered over top of each other when you're up close, but I just like having that distinct separation between the 2 patterns, the 2 papers. So I brought in a dark blue. Seems like it's kind of been the theme lately. If I do a strip across the page, it has, for whatever reason, been that blue. But it just works with a lot of the different collections. So now that I have that done, I have quite a bit kind of the base done as well, just because of the frames there. My title's done for me. I'm going to use that Summer Lovin' as my title. So I'm just kind of playing around with some of the embellishments. I have these simple pages from one of the collections, I believe is what it's called. And that's what that journaling spot comes from. And so I am going to end up using that underneath. And then I have a couple of freckled fawn chipboard embellishment packs. And so I think there's at least one to the top left I'm going to use. And they just work really nice color-wise with this collection. So I have these puffy stickers. There were a couple of florals in there, and so I did add those to kind of the title and the journaling spot there. I decided to go with the florals. It's on the frame, and I just wanted to kind of bring that in other places as well. And so, again, just trying to expand, I guess, my options. I, for years, would not use florals for documenting my boys' photos. But here recently, I have decided, you know what, it really doesn't matter. And it just opens up so much more, I guess, opportunities for me with scrapbooking and embellishment. So I did want to kind of, because of that frame, I wanted to bring in florals elsewhere as well. So it just didn't look out of place, I guess. So that's why I did add them to the bottom, and then I added that floral cluster at the top along with that kind of phrase, blue skies are here. And then I wanted to use that chipboard piece from Freckled Fawn, but had to figure out what to use with it. And so it took me a minute to kind of figure that out. And then I also felt like the cluster on the top right was not quite finished. So just lots of options. It was a bit challenging. The frames are on the thicker side, plus I added chipboard on top of that. So it was a little bit challenging with the thickness maybe. But I did find the Sunshine chipboard again though, and kind of snuck it underneath the Freckled Fawn chipboard here. Don't love maybe the thickness or the adhesive that I used, I guess. It's not flush, if that makes sense. The chipboard with the chipboard and then the frame on top of that, it just was not a flush cluster, I guess. So I don't know. Once it gets in my album, I probably will care less about it, to be quite honest. But as I was doing it, it was kind of bothering me a little bit. I did find just some smaller florals on that same chipboard, and so I just kind of scattered those throughout. Like I said, I didn't think that top right one was quite finished yet. But instead of that one little floral, I did sneak in a puffy seagull. I thought he was really cute. And so I did add that and then added that other flower to the right of the cluster instead of to the left. But I will see what is left of these collections at scrapbook.com or a cherry on top and link them down below if you are interested. But I hope you guys enjoyed this layout and we will see you next time. Bye guys.